Hello and welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, healer, tarot enthusiast, and your local witch next door, and today I'm talking about tarot and snakes. Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. If you love the show, the best way to support it for free is by listening daily, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. I recently ran a virtual tarot card creation event and workshop. If you weren't able to attend live or didn't register in time, you can go ahead and get the full package, which includes the hour-long recording, my step-by-step method, examples of cards I've created, journaling questions, and a PDF to walk you all through it for just $33. I'm going to be offering a 12-week Tarot for Transformation live course this summer, starting at the end of August. If you're interested, the sign up for more information will be in the show notes. I did just update my Patreon benefits to be bigger and better than ever. So if you want an individual card pulled for you once a month live on the podcast during my new moon collective tarot readings, join the Everyday Tarot Patreon family at the lovers level. If you'd like to support the podcast even further, you can get a one-time individual 5-card reading in addition to all the other benefits if you join the Witch Bitch level on the Patreon. If you're local to the greater Puget Sound area, join me at our next Let's Talk Tarot meetup group event. We'll be meeting at the Old Hangout in the Tacoma McMinimans from 1 to 3 p.m. on July 27th. Bring your tarot cards, your questions, and your obsession with tarot, and come meet other witchy and tarot folks in your community. If you're interested in my free PDF with the 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for you at the beginning of this year, you can get that by joining my newsletter list. My new weekly newsletter always has the most up-to-date information on upcoming events, presentations, and more. And if you don't already know, I'm a sex and relationships therapist and coach, seeing clients virtually all over Washington State. I love working with queer, poly, and witchy clients, so if you'd like to work with someone that doesn't judge you, is witchy just like you, and helps you learn how to deal with anxiety, chronic pain or illness, communication issues, self-advocacy, and sex, head to my website and book a free consultation now to start your journey. You can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull on each episode. All right, so welcome to season 12, where I'm talking all about tarot and animals. If you haven't listened to my other seasons yet, you should check those out. I've done a season on tarot basics. I've gone through every single card in the whole tarot deck, so all 78 cards. I've talked about tarot and pop culture. I went through 13 common tarot spreads. I've talked to tarot and witchcraft and tarot and plant allies. And like I said, we are on to season 12, where I'm talking about tarot and animals. And today I'm talking about tarot and snakes. So I'll go through a bit of the animal description, some symbolism, animal magic, and its relation to the tarot. All right, so to get into descriptions of snakes, you're probably familiar, but they are a reptile. They are cold-blooded, so they have to warm up in the sun to get their blood flowing more regularly. They are all different kinds of snakes. They can be found on every continent except for Antarctica and on most smaller land masses. There are a few exceptions where they're not found, but generally, again, they're spread all over the world. Some of them can also swim. They're found in, again, all areas, all sizes. Some are venomous, most are not. They generally swallow their prey whole, so some of them can unhinge their jaw to swallow their prey. They don't eat very often, some about once a month, since they swallow things whole and it takes them a long time to digest that. Most species of snakes are non-venomous, and those that have venom use it primarily to kill or subdue their prey rather than for self-defense. Some possess venom that's potent enough to cause painful injury or death to humans, and most, again, non-venomous snakes either swallow prey alive or kill by constriction, like boa constrictors. Snake symbolism is varied across the world. Sometimes snakes are seen, we'll talk a bit more about the fertility, rebirth, renewal aspect because they do shed their skin. So somewhat regularly, snakes will shed their whole skin and kind of grow a new one underneath. And so this is part of their association with that, like rebirth or renewal, healing, wisdom, creative life force. The shedding of a snake's skin is a powerful metaphor for shedding old ways, embracing change, and being reborn in a new phase of life. In many cultures, snakes are seen as symbols of fertility and the creative energy of life. They've also been associated with healing because, again, of that shedding and renewal energy, or their connection to the underworld. In some religious and cultural contexts, snakes, particularly in the Bible, are linked to temptation, deceit, and darker aspects of human nature, which is, I think, part of why snakes get a bad rap. Snakes are often seen as guardians of secret knowledge or wisdom, sometimes depicted as wise creatures or protectors of sacred places. There is the Ouroboros, which is a snake eating its own tail. I'm sure you've seen that symbol before. It's a powerful symbol of eternity, or that cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth, and the interconnectedness of all things. Snakes can also represent duality, encompassing both positive and negative aspects. Again, sign of that light and darkness, good or evil. And again, some cultures, snakes are seen as protectors or associated with royalty, which happens with depictions of cobras on the crowns of pharaohs or in other places too. So again, a wide variety of associations and different mythological symbols, right? We have the sort of Medusa, like head of snakes, like hair that turns into snakes. We have the serpent in the Bible depicted with the Garden of Eden and deception or trickery. And then we also have this sort of rebirth aspect of snakes. So on the partingthemyths.com card of the day about snake spirit. So in the Spirit Animals Oracle by author Colette Barron-Reed and artist Jenna Della Grotaglia. I'll have that oracle deck linked in the show notes. They have a snake spirit card. And in that one, it talks about it's all about being time to heal. All of us need healing at times, and when snake spirit appears, it's time to repair, renew, and replenish yourself and your vulnerable heart. Self-care and maintenance work are needed so that your vitality can arise. Give yourself the space to nourish your own well-being. Vulnerability is necessary for friendships and partnerships to work, which means all of us will have tender emotions at times. Be gentle with yourself and others now. Shed the past and step into a new way of being, for vitality is rising in you. This might be a good time to honor the work you have done to heal, grow, and repair any damage within you, within those you most care about, or within your community. Celebrate together how far all of you have come in your healing journey and all that you have created. Unburden yourself of anything that no longer supports wellness, prosperity, positive relationships, and well-being, and open the door for healing to occur. There is a protection message with this card that says, no matter how much you may have lost or how you have been disappointed, you are called by Snake Spirit to shed the past and practice radical self-acceptance now. Snake reminds you that the heart can be easily wounded, and self-forgiveness for your role in what happened can help heal you. Remember, it is the one who has been wounded who often has the greatest power to help others heal. And again, that was the Snake Spirit card from the Spirit Animals Oracle. I'll have that linked in the show notes. When I looked up sort of tarot cards featuring snakes or that have, you know, snake symbolism with them. I looked through a lot of my decks, and actually there are a ton of snakes in my decks. So I pulled 3 cards. So I pulled the Magician from the Ophidia Rosa deck by Leela and Olive, where we do have this Ouroboros, so the snake eating its own tail. I pulled the Death card from the Anima Mundi tarot deck by Megan Wyrer-Wendon, where we have a snake being depicted as shedding its skin. And then I also pulled the Wheel of Fortune card from the Goddess of Love tarot deck, done by Gabriella Herstick and illustrated by Julia Popescu, who is known as Snakes for Hair on Instagram. So hello, we have more snake imagery. And here again on the Wheel of Fortune card, we have the Ouroboros present along with other things on the Wheel of Fortune. So the only other one that I saw was the Lovers is sometimes depicted as having a snakes on it, sort of that intertwining. In my decks, again, I saw multiple Wheel of Fortune cards with snakes. I see Strength, Justice, and the Lovers and the Emperor. Those are mostly from the Therapist Who Tarot deck, which I'll also have linked in the show notes. And then in the Ophidia Rosa Tarot deck, I have the Wheel of Fortune, Strength, the 2 of Cups, the 3 of Swords, the 4 of Swords, the 7 of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the Queen of Swords all have snakes on them in different levels. Some have 2, some have more like a skeleton of a snake or things like that. And then in the Goddess of Love tarot deck, I also saw snakes in the 10 of Pentacles, the 3 of Pentacles, and the Crone of Wands, which would be equal to the King of Wands. So lots of snake imagery, again, in different ways, but mostly I saw in the Magician, Lovers, and Wheel of Fortune, and then also the Death card, depending on. And again, this sort of has the different aspects of snake symbolism. So for example, in the Goddess of Love tarot deck, it depicts, so this is for the Wheel of Fortune, it depicts Sheila Nagig as the ancient Celtic goddess who is seen on this card. She represents the fecundity of the Wheel of Fortune, the never-ending journey of death and rebirth, which again, right, very much associated with the snake and the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail, depicting the wheel of the year and sort of the never-ending nature of things. Yes, the Wheel of Fortune is the goddess's ability to lead you back to the path of wholeness. Whether you're moving through has something to teach you. So trust is what it talks about in the Goddess of Love tarot deck. And I was going to look at the Death card in the Anima Mundi deck here. Come on. There we go. So what's depicted is a death adder. The Death card does not necessarily indicate a physical death, but rather is a card of change and transformation. Things must come to an end, but after that, new things can begin. Like a snake shedding its skin, death is all about letting go of the old and embracing the new. So lots of different things there. Again, snakes can evoke a range of emotions. They're powerful symbols, but also are often very feared throughout history, you know, representing transformation, healing, wisdom, and temptation. It says, when the snake slithers into your reading, it may invite you to embrace transformation or urge you to explore hidden truths about yourself or a situation. It could indicate that changes are on their way or encourage you to shed old beliefs or patterns that no longer serve you. Snakes can also represent temptation or deception. They remind us to be cautious of illusions or false promises. Again, the interpretation is highly personal, and depending on your own like mythology around snakes or what you've kind of learned growing up, you're probably going to have a different reaction to snakes. Because again, we think about snakes shedding their skin, we think about the venomous aspects and this sort of like evil temptation. Can also be like linked to sensuality or sexual energy in some cultures. So again, sort of sometimes it's depicted in the Lover's card as sort of that entwining of people. Yeah, let's see what else, if there's anything else. Again, snakes show up a lot, I would say, in tarot. Like I said, I have snakes in at least 4 of my decks that I just sort of briefly looked through here. So yeah, let's go ahead and look at, what was I going to say here? Oh yeah, so let's pull a card today. Let's dive in, see what the cards have to say. What do snakes have to tell us, or what message do they have for us today? Are we thinking about transformation? Are we, shedding our skin? Are we birthing something anew? What message do we have here? And I am pulling a card from the It's Grow Time deck, 48 cards for Do Good, Feel Good Business Owners by Chantel Davis Gray. And I do have a discount code, the word goodness in all caps, with free shipping if you'd like to purchase this deck. I just got it. It's very fun. I have a post about it on my Instagram if you want to learn more about it, but super great deck. Okay, let's see here. So Snake has to tell us, list 3 people you'd love to work with and start connecting with them. So in this deck, there are kind of 2 different kinds of cards. There's feel good cards and there's do good cards. So this is a do good card, right? So we're going to be connecting with other people. We're going to be reaching out to people we admire in that way. And all those sorts of things. And there's also feel good cards. So if I pull a feel good card, one of them says, the seeds of my business bloom when the season is right. Okay, so we are birthing things anew, but only when the season is right. Okay, so that's all for today. If you'd like to join me on the journey of using the tarot for transformation, click on the link in the show notes to indicate your interest. We'll be working together for 12 weeks of calls and journaling to discover what happens when we want to transform our lives through the tarot. And that will be starting at the end of August. So you still have a month to sign up and get more info. Links for the tarot decks I talk about will always be in the show notes and on my website if you'd like to look at them or purchase them. And thanks for joining me today on Everyday Tarot. Just as a reminder, the podcast comes out daily, Monday through Friday for all of 2025. You can email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com with your thoughts, questions, and more. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.